Okay, can you hear me? All right. I've seen parts of this video, but I haven't seen the whole thing, and I wanted to watch the whole thing. So we're gonna watch this, and then we're gonna see his follow up, because Charlie responded to this video, and I guess he was not happy with Charlie's response.
Hello, Spez, Mr. CEO of Reddit. I hope you have received this public video that I have created and sent to you via your email. If not, I hope anybody who cares about the topic in this video can get this to him in any way that you can.
Okay, so this is intended as an address to the CEO of Reddit, but he uploaded it publicly to his YouTube account, where he seems to make a lot of videos like this. I'm not really sure what kind of content this means exactly. But yeah, so he says he does parody videos, which makes me wonder, is this a joke? But there are reasons I don't think this is a joke. And one of those reasons, of course, is his face, because, I mean, this guy looks like he's mid-allergic reaction.
This video is about a topic of deadly seriousness, and that is of Reddit moderation and the state of your platform. But
any address to the CEO of Reddit is bound to be absolutely deranged. That is very true. Wow, this is an awesome pause frame.
first, some background. I'm Brian, or Stale2000, or Tarot Card. I was the top moderator of your #1 gaming subreddit, r/livestreamfail, before I was recently removed from that position by the Reddit Code of Conduct team. I became a Reddit moderator for one reason, and that is because I think that Reddit communities, and correspondingly its moderators, have massive power and influence, and for some reason, nobody seems to notice, care, or take this seriously.
Okay, so the sole reason he became a Reddit moderator is because they have a lot of power and nobody noticed. So that means it's easy to become one, because nobody realizes how powerful they are. So he admits that he became a Reddit moderator just so that he could be powerful.
Least of all, its moderators or the company. In this video, I will go over why I believe this, and I will also talk about a code of conduct moderation action that was taken against me due to good faith mistakes that I believe were caused by a clear lack of direct material support that the company gives its moderator.
Okay, so the good faith mistake he's talking about is that he promoted a scam on our livestream fails, which is one of the biggest subreddits, and he deleted all the posts calling it a scam. That's the good faith mistake he made. He's promoted a scam and banned people for saying it was a scam. And the Reddit admins stepped in and removed him from the moderation team as a result.
I will end the video by talking about what you, Spez, can do to fix this problem, as well as what I and other communities can do in case Reddit does not solve this very serious mismanagement problem regarding the lack of support that is given to moderators.
So again, the mismanagement problem he's talking about is Reddit's problem, not his. It's not his fault. Not his fault that he promoted a scam. It's Reddit's fault.
First, I will go over the code of conduct action and why I was removed as the top moderator of r/livestreamfail. This sounds like stupid internet drama, I know, but I'm going to talk about how this is a very clear example about how Reddit's mistakes causes very serious problems to Reddit's community and the company as a whole. Here's what happened. There was an announcement related to a live stream related game.
Okay, so he just said Reddit's mistake is damaging to the community and the company, but it was his actions that were damaging to the community and the company. So what he's saying is that his actions were the company's mistake. It's Reddit's fault that he acted this way.
Show called $1 Million Fan. It was basically a game show like Survivor or Big Brother where fans of a streamer compete in different challenges with an influencer or a streamer for various prizes. The kicker here is that there was a grand prize of $20 million, supposedly. This was supposedly going to be aired on Amazon Prime, and it was also confirmed to be including a couple mid-sized and large streamers like Alexandra and Andrea Botez, Extra Emily, Canute, and a few others. Additionally, the opportunity...
I don't know who any of those streamers are. I do not watch Twitch.
He was supposedly brought to these streamers by a company called Mythic Talent, which is a well-respected streamer agency that represents hundreds of live streamers. I heard about the game show.
What exactly is the purpose of a streamer agency? Because if you're a streamer, you can just go live. So what do you need an agency for? I'm not really clear on what a streamer agency does. It kind of sounds like it's one of those things like the old multi-channel networks that used to be big on YouTube, where you pay a guy to do nothing for you.
A few hours after it got announced by a couple major live streamers. It sounded like the perfect type of content for a live stream fail. I mean, reality TV, game show, live streaming, gaming, that's perfect for LSF, which is about fun, crazy content about kind of live streaming gamers. So when I heard about this, I was very excited. I immediately reached out to the organizers to see if we could set up some sort of a collaboration.
So he heard about this thing, and he is the one who reached out to set up a collaboration. So he sought out the scam to promote. Allegedly, he didn't know it was a scam, but he's the one who sought it out.
This collaboration would just be to get cool content on the subreddit. No, financial incentives, no moderators being paid, basically none of anything like that, just fun, cool.
He did it for free.
Cool stuff for the community in the subreddit. For collaborations, the first obvious thing that came to mind was, how do we get their content on the subreddit? Either some superfans or some editors could clip.
Why are his lips so shiny? Isn't that crazy? Why are his lips so... Is he, like, wearing lip gloss? And his skin is so smooth. Does he have a filter on? His skin is so smooth, but you can see the hair on his chin.
Some cool hype moment from the show, and then post it to the subreddit. But I also had a stretch goal.
Wait.
Came to mind was, how do we get their content on the subreddit? Either some superfans or some editors could clip some cool hype moment from the show, and then...
So, he wanted to promote them, but they didn't have a show up yet. So he was talking about how to promote them using clips from the show that hasn't aired yet.
Post it to the subreddit. But I also had a stretch goal, and that was, what if LSF could be part of the show in some way? I don't know, there could be like a LSF-themed best clip contest.
An LSF-themed best clip contest. Isn't that just a best clip contest? Like, what does that have to do with LSF? Like, what are you providing there? Normally, when there's like a sponsored segment on a show, it's because the sponsor paid money. So what is he offering? I guess he's offering the advertising.
Like, contestants compete in one of the kind of small challenges, they make the best clip, and then somebody kind of wins the prize at the end. It was a stretch goal, though. So I reached out to the organizers, and to my surprise, they immediately understood what LSF was, what power it had, and they even agreed to the...
He was surprised? He was surprised that these people who work in streaming have heard of one of the biggest streaming discussion boards on the internet, and that they were aware that it was large and influential?
Stretch goal of like the cool competition to have in the actual show. From my perspective, this felt like one of the coolest things that a subreddit has ever done. I mean,
the coolest thing that a subreddit has ever done is promote a scam.
Being in a freaking reality TV show in a
freaking reality TV show
that's directly related to the subreddit, how awesome. And then, maybe I could leverage this to get even more opportunities either.
Maybe I could leverage this to get more sponsorships, and maybe some sponsorships that people will actually pay. Wow, every pause frame is fantastic. And his lips are so swollen.
For our subreddit or for other subreddits across the entire platform. That's how I felt, at least. And that's clearly not how it worked out. After they agreed to kind of a couple of these kind of requests that I had in my stretch goal, they immediately started moving very quickly. We wrote up an announcement and they wanted this out within like 24 hours. So we quickly worked to make an announcement together and I posted it the next day.
So he approached them and they said, wow, that's a great idea, but you'd better do it right away. And he just moved straight along with their extremely tight deadline.
When I posted it,
which the tight deadline means he couldn't do any research to see if this is legitimate.
Everybody in the comment section immediately yelled, scam, 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 scam.
Okay, so he posts the announcement, and immediately his entire community tells him this is a scam. What does he do next?
This initially didn't actually worry me because
he ignored them.
Because no matter what we do, people call it a scam.
He ignored them because he's used to being called a scammer.
I've done AMAs with the Twitch CEO. People called that a scam.
What? What does that even mean?
And I was also thinking like multiple major live streamers were involved, Mythic Talent was involved. Surely they had done their due diligence, right? Additionally, the thing that people were the most...
Okay, so he says that he just assumed it couldn't be a scam because some streamers I've never heard of were involved. I don't know how famous these streamers are. I don't know how valuable their reputations are, so I do not know if that is an insane thing for him to say. But it kind of sounds like, maybe you should have done some research.
Skeptical about was the $20 million grand prize. This initially confused me as well, but once I heard that, Amazon Prime was allegedly involved, my initial...
He heard that Amazon Prime was involved. He didn't look into it. He just heard that they were involved.
Concerns were assuaded. Think about it. Amazon Prime...
Assuaded.
...has spent lots of money on tons of shows, and, I didn't necessarily think that the show was worth $20 million, but, that doesn't mean that Amazon Prime wouldn't fund it. And...
Alright, I'm gonna give him a point here. He's totally correct. This is a terrible show to spend $20 million on, but that alone does not mean that Amazon would not spend $20 million on it.
If LSF was involved, maybe it would actually succeed. Maybe my involvement alone...
If LSF was involved, maybe it would succeed. So this guy has a gigantic ego.
...could make the $20 million kind of investment worth it. Who...
Really? That's insane. He has to be joking.
...knows. At least that's what I thought. Now here comes the next part of the story, when things get a little crazy. The next day, a major live streamer who was involved in the show, Extra Emily, said on her stream that she kind of saw all these comments about people calling it a scam, and they even saw that LSF was involved, and this was apparently unacceptable to her, so much so that she was considering kind of dropping out of the show or kind of looking into seeing if kind of the whole thing was a scam or not.
Okay, so a streamer came forward and said, a streamer who was associated with the show came forward and said that she was starting to suspect it might be a scam.
After seeing this, I brought the concerns to the organizers, and the organizers told me that they were currently in talks with the agents to resolve this, and they told me in no uncertain terms that the show was not canceled and was still going on. So
he heard that one of the streamers that was involved in the show was backing down because she was starting to think it was a scam. He approached the organization running the scam and said, hey, are you a scam? And they said, we're not a scam. And so he took their word for it.
Me being somebody who didn't really have a lot of, information into the situation, and me, trusting these high-powered agents who represent these multi-million-dollar kind of celebrities, I trusted that they would kind of get to the bottom of the...
What?
And kind of resolve these concerns quickly. During this time period, I saw and deleted a lot of unsubstantiated claims about the show and the mod team.
Okay, so he saw people saying it was a scam and accusing the mod team of promoting a scam. And instead of issuing a public statement saying this is not a scam and we have not been paid, he just deleted all those people who were criticizing him.
There were accusations that I knew to be untrue, such that, the mod team had accepted bribes.
He knew that this was untrue because he never took any money. If we take him at his word and we assume that he's telling the truth, that means that he could have just said, I didn't take any money and no one else on the mod team took any money. But he didn't do that. He just deleted the accusations. And when you delete accusations, you make yourself look guilty.
Or, had some sort of financial involvement with the show. And I knew that they were not true because I was the one who had this idea the entire time, from start to finish. This happened a couple days. And what I can tell you, for those who, may not believe that for most moderators, I'm a highly paid software engineer working in San Francisco. I do not need to take a couple $1,000 bribes from, random internet.
So now he's saying, I would never take a bribe because I'm already rich. And I just want you to stew on that and ask yourself, does he really think that that's a good defense? That I have so much money, I would never scam anyone is a good defense? Because, I mean, Logan Paul.
Scams, okay? I was doing this because I legitimately, care about the subreddit, and that's why I spend my time on it. I thought it'd be kind of...
And I just noticed something.
Because I legitimately bribes from really paid software engineer working in San Francisco. I do not need to take a couple $1,000.
When he talks and he leans forward, it really draws attention to this comb over. And I'm just wondering, like, what is the purpose of the comb over? Is he deliberately making himself look like this? Because he could just shave that off and he would look better. I mean, he'd still be bald, but he wouldn't look like this. And, I mean, he could go just shave the top off. And, I don't know, man. What is this hairline?
Bribes from care about the subreddit, and that's why I spend my time on it. I thought it'd be kind of cool events for the sub. I'm talking about this in kind of the deleted comments because this is apparently some big no-no in the Reddit TOS or something, or maybe it's like
I don't know the Reddit TOS, but it sounds like what you were doing is you were covering up accusations of a scam instead of looking into them. And then it turned out it actually was a scam. So you did not do your due diligence.
Spoken rule where if you're involved in some sort of promotion and it ends up not working out or it ends up being a scam or something, if you have deleted comments that have accused it of being a scam, well that, shows a cover up or some way. It shows malice or bad faith or something. So that's why I'm gonna...
Yeah, it does. It does make it seem malicious. I mean, we could give you the benefit of the doubt and just assume that you're a moron. I didn't know anything about this story until I saw this video. Or I should say until I saw Charlie's video about this video. And so I don't know the details. I don't know how obvious it was that the scam was a scam. And so it's totally possible that this guy did not know that he was promoting a scam. But the thing is, he had a bunch of people telling him, hey, this looks like a scam. And instead of looking into it or communicating with his community in any way, he just started deleting all the posts that said this thing looks like a scam. And if you do that, it kind of makes it seem like you're protecting scammers.
Talking about this is because this was specifically a reason that was brought up regarding why I was kicked out as a mod on a livestream fail. And finally, I want to end this part of the story by talking about how Moist Critical made a video critical of the situation. And then about 30 minutes after this kind of video got released...
Okay, so Charlie made a video calling him a scammer, and he doesn't like that.
I got reached out by the organizers of the events and told that 5 live streamers in the event had dropped out and that therefore the event was canceled and I should take down the post. In this video that Moist Critical had that was critical of the event, Moist Critical brought up points about how an image on the marketing page was AI generated, or that the domain name was registered in Iceland, or that basically just the whole thing, it smelled bad. That's what he did. He did this.
Oh yeah, okay. So it did smell bad. It sounds like it smelled bad. It sounds like there was a bunch of suspicious... It sounds like there were a lot of suspicious elements here. And you just ignored that.
This motion, and he said it smelled bad. But beyond that, it doesn't seem like he did much research. I don't think that he reached out to any of the organizers.
Okay, but you didn't do any research. You've admitted that you didn't do any research because you said that this was a good faith mistake. And the only way this could be a good faith mistake is if you didn't know it was a scam. And so you couldn't have done any research. Or else you would have known it was a scam.
He certainly didn't reach out to me.
He should have reached out to you, right? Because you're so important. You're so important. You're so powerful. You're such a big man. You're so powerful. You're such a big man. So this this streamer, one of the biggest streamers in the world, should have reached out to you and asked you for your opinion on this scam you're promoting.
And I mean, I don't know if he reached out to Mythic Talent or any of the streamers. Now I want to stop people here because this is very important. And I think this is something that not a lot of people might have noticed. And that important point is that nothing in this situation has yet to be definitively proven as a scam.
Now, again, I don't really know the details of the story, so I can just take him at his word on this. I don't know if it's actually true. I can just take him at his word on this and say, okay, maybe it hasn't been proven to be a scam, but it sounds like it was probably a scam. Because here's what happened. A bunch of people started saying it was a scam, and Moist Critical noticed all these people saying it was a scam, so he looked into it, and he saw a bunch of suspicious things, a bunch of red flags that make it look like a scam. So he publicly called it a scam. Now this guy has a lot of money, so if he's defaming you, you can sue him and make a ton of money. He's not some loser that isn't worth someone's time to lawyer up for. So they could have sued him, or they could have sought an amicable resolution. They could have contacted him and said, hey, it's not cool that you're defaming us. We don't want to bring legal action against you. So here's the evidence that it's not a scam. Instead, what they did was they watched all their partners pull out, because their partners were also looking at this and saying, wow, this kind of looks like a scam. And clearly these partners were not privy to information that made it not look like a scam. And they just pulled the rug out and disappeared. So it seems to me that it was probably a scam. But again, I haven't looked into it. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
I repeat, there is no definitive, at least public information yet, that anything fraudulent, malicious, or illegal has happened.
No, but it does fail the smell test, which is what Charlie was saying, and you know, it fails the smell test. Getting out of bed to say this guy looks like a retarded Oblivion NPC and seems legitimately more upset that he's been outsmarted by a really stupid scam that he fucked up to begin with. This guy sucks. This guy sucks big time and could probably get scammed by a pyramid scheme. Yes. Especially with those lips. Let's just say that. He does seem, now that you mention it, he does seem like someone who would fall for a pyramid scheme, and he'd be very big on telling people that it's not a pyramid scheme because it's multi-level marketing, and explaining in detail the difference between multi-level marketing and a pyramid scheme, and how multi-level marketing is definitely legitimate, and how he's going to get super rich on Herbalife.
In the situation, the only confirmed things that we have right now is that I guess there was a website, looked a little weird, there was some bad publicity, everybody called it a scam, and then a bunch of streamers dropped out, and then the event got canceled, and everybody got refunded.
Okay, so this is what I was just talking about. And by the way, I want to say that as far as I'm aware, there's no evidence that there's been a refund. Again, I haven't really been keeping up with the story. That's the purpose of the stream. I'm gonna watch this, and then I'm gonna go and watch his response to Charlie. But from what I have heard, he was asked on a recent live stream to provide proof of a refund, and he just said no. So, I don't have the proof. I'd have to go look for it. He just said, no, I don't want to. So, I'm inclined to think he's just lying. But that would be very strange. That's a strange thing to lie about, considering everything else here.
None of this is illegal. None of this is proved to be a scam.
And everything else he said is in line. This is a great pause frame. Everything else he said is totally in line with what I was saying earlier about how the everything about this is failing the smell test. So yeah, maybe we don't have, and again, I might be wrong, maybe we don't have definitive proof that this was definitely a scam started with malicious intent, but it clearly was not a project that had $20 million behind it. That's obvious. If their website is AI generated, then they don't have $20 million behind them. Because if you want people to think that your project is legitimate, you don't use AI slop, because people just assume that they're being scammed when they see AI stuff. So they failed the smell test, and a bunch of people got nervous and started backing out. And then instead of putting those people's nerves at ease and saying, okay, here's the proof that we're actually being backed by Amazon Prime, they just said, okay, project's canceled. Jeff Bezos will probably not care that we just took $20 million from him and ran.
At least yet. Maybe I'll eat these words. And yes, in retrospect, there are certainly some things which we could call yellow flags or even red flags. But
yellow flags. He's downplaying this. He's saying, yeah, there were some yellow flags, and maybe there were even red flags. Maybe there were a lot of red flags. Is the impression I'm getting from your version of events. I'm hearing red flags. Some of those red flags are your own behavior.
That being said, I don't want people to go into this thinking that there was some proven malfeasance or something.
Malfeasance. I think he means malfeasance.
When there really is a possibility that a lot of this could have just been kind of bad organization and things just
bad organization. Okay.
Fell through. Just because something's a bad idea, just because something is misorganized, that doesn't mean that anything illegal happened. You know,
he's being very defensive here, which makes me wonder if maybe he was more involved in this scam than just promoting it on his subreddit.
Haven't gotten confirmation about kind of the Amazon Prime kind of a thing. I think that is the biggest unknown right now is I don't know about this supposed Amazon Prime deal, if it exists or not.
Okay, if the Amazon Prime deal existed, they probably would have just shown proof of that. Because if Amazon Prime gave them $20 million, it's probably not a scam. Because I don't know what people were paying them for, but I can't imagine that whatever people were paying them for was a lot of money compared to the $20 million they were taking from Amazon. So like clearly if they were running a scam, either they were scamming Amazon or they weren't running a scam, right?
Because maybe they were in negotiation.
If they were connected with Amazon. They were connected to Amazon, they must have been scamming Amazon, or it wasn't a scam. So Amazon would know if they got scammed after this whole thing blew up. So they would come out and say something, right? But they haven't said anything that I'm aware of.
With them, maybe a contract was in the works but hasn't been signed yet. I'm not really sure yet.
Okay, he's giving them a lot of outs here. He's saying, okay, maybe there wasn't a deal. Maybe they were working on a deal with Amazon. Well, that's a convenient out, isn't it? Because if they were just working on a deal with Amazon, they wouldn't have a contract. And that would be a lot harder to prove that they were working on a deal. So you would just have to take their word for it, wouldn't you? It really is starting to sound like this guy might have been involved in this scam.
We'll have to see. And then kind of I'll end the story by talking about why I got removed as the top moderator.
You got removed as the top moderator because you were deleting people who were calling out a scam.
Really not a secret or very surprising. I got removed directly for the post that I pinned to the top of the subreddit related.
Okay, so you were actually removed for promoting the scam and not for stopping people from calling it a scam. Okay, that's interesting.
To the game show or supposed and alleged scam, as well as kind of for deleting comments that were
I paused Andy.
Critical of it. I also want to make a comment about kind of the Reddit Code of Conduct team as a whole. Reddit has all this flowery language about how kind of the Code of Conduct team is not here to punish you. It's kind of here to get you to act in good faith. It's here to kind of give you second chances and warnings and all of this stuff. And apparently all of that are lies because
Reddit is lying when they say that they want me to improve my behavior because they banned me for running a scam on their platform.
As I was not given any second chances.
You weren't given any second chances because you abused your role as the moderator of one of the largest platforms on the internet to promote a scam.
Given very much kind of descriptive examples of kind of what I did wrong or kind of given any.
But you just told us that you know what you got banned for. So you were told what you did wrong.
The ability to kind of defend myself. I was just given a very vague
You weren't given the ability to defend yourself because it's obvious that you promoted a scam.
Description of, yeah, there's accusations about some fraudulent scam that takes people's money and their PII, which means their name, right? Because you have to sign up with your name to join a contest. And so I have infringed on the code of conduct by promoting a game show where you have to put in your name or something, even though it hasn't really been proved to be fraudulent yet. And so
his defense here, okay, now I'm starting to see why he's so defensive. Why he's saying there's no proof it's a scam. Because he thinks that if there's no proof it's a scam, then Reddit was not justified in removing his status as a moderator. Okay.
It's a little disappointing. Now, here's the most important part of the video, Spez. This is a direct message to you.
I forgot that this video was addressed directly to the CEO of Reddit, which is insane. I can't imagine. Well, he might have watched it after all the publicity it got.
And only you. I want to talk about how this whole situation is a direct result of the lack of support that Reddit, the company, gives to its moderators.
All right, so now he's saying it's Reddit's fault that I promoted a scam.
Yeah, I did the partnership. Yeah, I didn't look into this as much as I should, and I trusted kind of agencies and live streamers when I should not have. And I did delete comments, which I thought would have been borderline defamatory if the situation wasn't, I guess, a scam, even though it technically hasn't been proven to be a scam yet.
He's still harping on that.
But despite all of that, there is still massive kind of like problems at Reddit, the company, due to the lack of support that caused this. But right before I go into the specific
the lack of what?
Problems at Reddit, the company, due to the lack of support that caused this. But
the lack of support that caused this.
Right before I go into the specific reasons of how this happened, I want to talk about why this matters in the first place. And this matters because Reddit moderators have power.
Reddit moderators have power, Mom!
Have influence. If you are one of the people who is joking about like internet janitor duties or whatever, I'm sorry to tell you, it's funny jokes, but you are wrong.
You're wrong! I'm not a janitor! I don't get paid! That's the difference!
Moderation does matter. Reddit moderators have control over millions of impressions per day, and nobody seems to notice or care.
And so do janitors.
Let's just talk about LSF. Think of all the streamer careers that have been created because of LSF. Think about the even larger number of streamer careers that have been destroyed because of LSF, because some clip went viral about like something bad that they did. I don't have a Reddit account, so I could be way off on this. But I am guessing that probably whatever role LSF has played in either launching or ending careers, if indeed that has ever happened, is probably as a facilitator of something going viral. Maybe I'm totally off on this. Maybe people have seriously had their careers changed one way or another overnight because they went viral on LSF. But I would guess that what happens is LSF contributes to it, but the clip probably would have gone viral anyway. That's my guess. Maybe I'm wrong. Had major live streamers who are effectively celebrities come to me and beg to kind of remove
celebrities. He keeps talking about celebrities. Remember that. That's important. He's obsessed with celebrities.
Negative posts about them. An even crazier story is the time when some Twitch employees found me in person and borderline begged me to make sure LSF is not used to destroy the multi-billion-dollar company Twitch.
Twitch employees begged me. They begged me to save their company because I have so much power. I have so much power.
Partially because at the time, LSF was indeed being used to destroy the multi-billion-dollar company.
I have so much power. I was already destroying their company, but they came and they begged me and they were so nice. So I thought I will have mercy on these poor peasants and I will let their company continue to exist because I have all the power.
Twitch. Deservedly so, by the way. Or even just take this literal
and they had it coming.
Circumstance. Imagine the whole kind of operation was legit. Well, guess what? One single post on LSF caused all of the streamers to drop out and destroyed a $20 million opportunity.
Okay, but if it was legit, then all they had to do was come forward and say, hey guys, here's the proof that this is not a scam. That's all they had to do. It's the only thing they had to do. So if this was legit, they weren't destroyed by a single post. And if it wasn't legit, they still weren't destroyed by a single post because this is a great pause frame. According to you, what they were destroyed by was Charlie, who has, I believe, 13 million subscribers. And Charlie's one of the biggest guys on any streaming platform. I think he's on like all of them. I'm pretty sure he multi-streams on Twitch and YouTube. I don't know if he also streams on Kick, but I would not be surprised if he does as well. He's one of the biggest streamers. So according to you, Charlie is the reason this was destroyed, not a post on LSF. So what are you talking about?
Sorry, Mythic. My bad. Or imagine it was, I guess, a scam through and through. Well, guess what? We were the ones to expose it and destroy
No, it sounds like you went out of your way to cover it up. If this was a scam, you went out of your way to cover it up, dude.
it before it had the chance to cause any real harm. I mean, everybody got refunded after all.
Okay, I need to stress, I am not sure if everyone got refunded. I have not looked into this, but I have heard from people who know more about this than I do that he's the only source for there being refunds. So maybe I'm just being irresponsible by spreading misinformation, but you know.
Yes, things ended up okay. Right or wrong, you
But if I am, that makes two of us.
can think I'm a good moderator or a bad moderator.
You're a bad moderator.
You can think that LSF helps streamers or is the bane of their existence in the entire industry.
I don't have an opinion on LSF because I'm not a Redditor, so I can't really comment on this. I don't know if LSF sucks or if LSF is funny or what. I just know I've seen some funny clips there. That's all.
But please don't for a single second pretend like it doesn't matter. And that's just one subreddit.
Don't pretend it doesn't matter. Okay, so here's the thing. If LSF matters, that doesn't mean you matter. Because anyone could do what you do. A 15-year-old could do what you do. It would be really easy to find a 15-year-old and say, delete the posts that use bad words and delete the posts that don't belong on the subreddit because they're off topic. And don't be a shithead about it. And, you know, he's 15, so he'd probably be a shithead about it. But that's all you need. Like, you are more replaceable than an actual janitor. Because an actual janitor has to clean up shit and vomit. And I don't want to do that. So, you know, it's a lot easier to clean up virtual shit and virtual vomit. Because it doesn't smell, you know?
Now back to me. I was one of your most passionate users. I was
one of your most passionate users, and I look like this. Holy shit. So this is just the stereotype. This is what Redditors look like. This is like, if you ask someone to draw the archetypal Redditor, they would draw this guy, but probably fatter and with more of a neckbeard. He has a little bit of hair on his chin, but it kind of looks like he probably just shaved like a day ago or something. It's not a real neckbeard. It's just the lighting is drawing attention to the hairs on his chin and not so much the hairs on the rest of his face. So if you ask someone to draw a Reddit Janny, they would probably draw this guy with a neckbeard and a bigger belly. So yeah, you're one of Reddit's most passionate users, and you're an embarrassment to the platform. And they probably are wishing that you will. I don't know if you can delete a Reddit account. Can you delete a Reddit account? I think, yeah, you can delete a Reddit account because there's always all those deleted posts that you can't tell who made them because the name goes away when an account gets deleted. So I'm sure the platform is wishing that you would delete your posts.
The Reddit partnership program.
Your account, I mean, but also your posts.
From the start, I took advantage of every opportunity that
I don't know what the Reddit partner program is. Do Jannies get paid for their posts? I know they don't get paid for their Janny work. Can they get paid for their posts? Or what the hell is a Reddit partner? I've been wondering that ever since I first saw that clip.
I could. I had meetings with kind of the Reddit community managers. I begged them for help and kind of partnership opportunities.
I begged the people who actually get paid to give me sponsorships and act as my managers. Because he thinks that they're his managers. I don't want to spoil it.
At every chance that I could. And I was blown off every single time. I got nothing.
Because you were begging them to do free labor for you. You were begging them to do what a manager does for free.
Out of it, the community managers never helped me. As, you know, nice as the guy was, I think he had basically no power to help me. I was one of the...
What did you want him to do? You wanted him to find you sponsorships. Why does your subreddit need sponsorships?
Only moderators out there who tried to grow my community, who had any ambition, who tried to work with the company or help other subreddits or help the company that help, and it didn't matter. I failed, and it failed because of how
I was the best Janny they ever had, and they still would not give me more Hot Pockets.
How mismanaged and how little support Reddit the company gives to moderators. So
why would they give you support? The purpose of Reddit is to create a platform for multiple discrete communities to just do their own thing. So you go to Reddit, right? And they are paying for all this infrastructure. You're not paying to host your subreddit. They're paying for that. And in return, you have to moderate it. And there are some rules that you have to follow that are site-wide. And as long as you follow those rules, they don't really care what else you do, right? So what do they owe you? They don't owe you anything. They're providing you a service.
Let's circle back. Let's go back to
They're providing you a service for free.
Moderation situation. This is a very key important point, so please pay attention. None of this would have happened. Back to the moderation situation. This is a very key important point, so please pay attention.
Please pay attention. This guy has a weird speech impediment. He talks normal most of the time, and then he'll just mispronounce a word. And I wonder if maybe he's nervous. But some of the words that he says wrong, like malfeasement. What is malfeasement? I assume he has a script. He's speaking too he's too focused and he's too clear to be speaking off the cuff. Like, I'm talking off the cuff right now. I don't have a script, and you can tell. This guy seems like he's reading a script, but then he says malfeasement. Like, did you write malfeasement in your script? He must have written malfeasance.
None of this would have happened if I had gotten support from Reddit. Do you think that
I would not have promoted a scam if Daddy Reddit had held my hand and stopped me.
Be the guy like going out, like messaging random people in Discords and LinkedIn's and trying to figure out kind of these partnerships?
Why are you trying to figure out, why do you need sponsorships for your subreddit? He thinks that he's entitled to a sponsorship. That Reddit should be providing him a sponsorship. And so he's mad that he has to find his own sponsorship. But why do you need a sponsorship?
I don't. This is not my job. I am not qualified to do any of this. I am not.
You sure fucking aren't.
Not a lawyer. I cannot read contracts to know what I should do or I should not do. I just want to grow my subreddit, have a big vision, and I don't want to deal with it. At the end of the day, I'm a random nobody who got
correct.
Lucky.
Correct. You're extremely replaceable.
I took over one of your largest gaming subreddits on the platform.
Took over one of the largest subreddits. So it sounds like, again, I don't really know the case. But it sounds like what he's saying is that LSF already existed. He noticed that if he became a moderator there, he would be powerful. And so he became a moderator there, and he ended up becoming the head mod because I guess nobody else cared enough, because most people don't care about being a Reddit Janny that much. Not unless it's like a community they've built themselves. So he's talking about how he did all this work to build the community, but it sounds like it had already been built up when he took over. And, the network effect means that the bigger your platform is, the easier it is to grow it, right? So it sounds like the hard work was done by someone else. That's the impression I'm getting.
Because I won a stupid game of Reddit mod politics. But apparently, I'm the only person out there who understands the potential that Reddit has. If Reddit had offered me partnerships, if Reddit had pipelines to connect with kind of major companies, if Reddit had lawyers that were helping me reading over these contracts.
Reddit should hire a lawyer to read my contracts for me. That is insane. Why, how would that benefit them? They don't benefit from that. That's not beneficial to Reddit. That would be, lawyers are expensive, so why would they hire a lawyer for you? Why would they just have a lawyer on retainer who reads contracts for janitors? Well, how does that benefit them? It doesn't, because you don't need a sponsorship, and they don't need you to get a sponsorship for their platform to keep being profitable. So I assume Reddit is. I really hope Reddit is profitable. I don't actually know off the top of my head. So if their platform is profitable, who cares? They don't need you to be growing your platform with sponsorships. if their platform isn't profitable, then they can't afford to give you a lawyer anyway. So, like, what? Like, what do you think? What do you think is the relationship here? What do you think is your relationship to Reddit? Because you seem to think that you're really important, and you're not. And you just admitted yourself that you're just some guy who got lucky. So, how are you important? You could be replaced. You have been replaced.
Reading over these agreements, none of these very real mistakes that I made would have happened. And before you say it, I'm sure there's some employee at Reddit, the company, that says like, oh yeah, we do that. That's my job. It's over here. Well, clearly you're not even doing 1% of what you should be doing because...
Okay, so now he's saying maybe there is a Reddit talent management agency where they can be like, they can give me, oh hey, what's up? Wiz in the chat. Maybe there is like a talent management agency at Reddit where they can tell me, here's your sponsorship. They'll pay you $10,000 to promote Cutcoin to your captive audience that you can ban if they criticize you. I mean, there isn't, but he thinks that there should be. So he's covering himself in case there is, because he thinks this is so obvious and so necessary that maybe there is a Reddit talent agency that he just doesn't know about.
Nobody uses these resources. Nobody cares. You are not doing enough. Multiply it by 100 and then let's talk. Reddit?
Right, because it doesn't exist. Is the thing. This doesn't exist. This thing that he's asking for doesn't exist, but he thinks it should exist. So in his mind, it doesn't make any sense that this thing does not exist. That doesn't make any sense to him. So he's thinking, wow, if this does exist already, and I'm demanding that it exists, I'm going to look like an idiot. So I have to say, you need to work harder, because it's really strange that they don't have this talent agency that gives me sponsorships for Cutcoin. So I need to just in case. But obviously it doesn't exist.
It needs to be professionalized, and it starts with the mods. This is going to be controversial, but the people who are running your
Reddit mods need to be paid.
Multi-billion-dollar website are unqualified nobodies like me.
Correct. You are unqualified and a nobody. So why would they do anything? Like, why would they give you money? And if you think they should train you to not be an unqualified nobody, why would they do that? The point of Reddit is that it's run by unqualified nobodies. Is that anybody can go make their own community and run their community however they like, as long as they follow a few basic rules. So you're asking for basically the purpose of Reddit to be changed and for it to be more like 4chan, actually. You're asking for Reddit to be more like 4chan, where the administration decides what boards there will be and has kind of a closed clique of admins that control everything. And I just think that's funny.
That doesn't mean it's my fault or their fault. It's your fault, Spez. Here's why. The controversial...
It is the fault of the CEO that I promoted a scam, because the CEO should have hired a lawyer to double check for me that it wasn't a scam before I promoted it.
Solution is just get rid of the bad mods with better mods or paid mods, or do takeovers or more rules or something like that. But there are better solutions. You can train them. You can give mods infrastructure or pipelines or...
Why would we train Reddit mods? What's the point? You can't train every Reddit mod, because anyone can become a Reddit mod by just making their own subreddit, right? So what would be the threshold? Like, if your subreddit gets big enough, all your mods have to report for training, and they have to report for training on the Reddit corporate's dime. So what?
Resources or real kind of material support, and treat them as if they have the actual power and influence that they actually have, and so communities can rise to the heights they truly could.
I have all this power, and you need to start respecting my power by giving me things for free.
And the Reddit Moderator Partner Program is not it. Reddit moderators do not need one call with like one guy a month, as nice as he is.
I am surprised you even get that much.
Love you, Pablo, who has no power and no ability to affect anything. Reddit moderators don't need Christmas celebrations or special badges or community or events or team building exercises. No, even the Reddit event budget is barely useful.
He is so entitled. He does not realize how grateful he should be that he gets anything at all. He's a janitor.
No, they need real
A janitor who does it for free.
Material support. That means access to anything that like a talent manager would give an actual celebrity. So, an access to a...
But you are not a celebrity. You don't have the influence of a celebrity. And Reddit is not a talent manager. This isn't the relationship that exists. First of all, a talent manager is an employee. You pay them. You're asking for free. An internet janitor, real janitors are useful. That's very true. I was talking earlier about how internet janitors are way more replaceable than real janitors because a real janitor has to clean up puke and shit, and an internet janitor just has to press the delete button. And one of those things does not smell. And it's the internet. It's the internet thing. So, literally anybody could be an internet janitor. That's the thing. So he seems to be under the impression that talent managers are provided for free to celebrities, and that's not the case. If you want a talent manager, you have to pay them. They don't work for free. And usually the way it works is you pay them a percentage, usually 5% or 10% of any work they bring in for you. Because if you're paying them like a salary, you're probably being scammed. The idea is they have to bring in work for you, or else they're not worth being paid anyway. And so, because they get paid a percentage, they are incentivized to get you the most work they can, and also the highest paying work they can. And so it's a mutually beneficial arrangement. You're asking for Reddit to get you sponsorships for free. Like, what are you offering them? If they want to sell ad space on your subreddit, they can just do that. They don't need you to promote anything. So what are you offering to Reddit in this situation? Because you don't control the platform, they do. They pay for it, so they control it. That's how that works.
Bounty board, or ad deals, or lawyers, or event organizers, or...
And he thinks they owe him lawyers.
Professionals, or anything that actually matters. To summarize, Reddit
actually matters, unlike Reddit mods.
Moderators should be treated like celebrities or influencers.
They should be treated... What subreddits does he moderate anyway? He runs livestream fails. I do not know if he runs anything else. There are rumors that he might be a mod on H3 Snark, but I haven't looked into those. I don't think that's true. If he was a mod on H3 Snark, I can't imagine that he would be connecting that name to his face and legal name. His legal name is connected to his YouTube channel. Because that would be unwise considering the lawsuit. I think that's just a rumor.
Not because they deserve respect or anything, but because they actually have real power and influence. I mean, if not for the world, at least over your $50 billion company, maybe if you gave them actual support.
But they're replaceable. That's the thing. He doesn't understand how replaceable he is. He literally just got replaced, and he's in denial about how replaceable he is.
It could go from 50 billion to 100 billion. I mean, it certainly deserves to be that high up for how much traffic Reddit gets. So why haven't you solved this problem already, Svez?
Does it? I don't know if Reddit actually deserves to be a $100 billion company. I mean, this guy does not seem like... But he works in Silicon Valley. So I would think he would have some knowledge of how financial markets work, because he probably gets paid partially in stock, right? But... maybe he's just totally stupid and clueless. You don't get valuation based on how much money, how many viewers you get. You get valuation based on how much money you bring in and how much money the market thinks you will bring in the future. This is what a lack of self-awareness does to a person. Absolutely. I was half convinced. I was starting to suspect this might be a joke, but he's He's so serious. And oh my god, his lips are so swollen. What is wrong with him? Did he just eat something he's allergic to?
Is it because you're out of touch and you aren't aware of the problem?
And they're so shiny too.
Is it because Reddit is a bloated mess and they can't ship products? No, I think the real issue is that Reddit is held hostage by the negativity and toxicity of its user base, and it doesn't really...
Okay, so now the Reddit Janny is saying that Reddit Jannies need more support because Reddit users are awful.
They have the freedom to make bold and important and transformative decisions that could save the company. If you agree with anything that I said...
Reddit moderators should not have the power to make transformative decisions that could save the company because most of them have terrible ideas like you. And if every Reddit mod was empowered to make decisions that could impact Reddit the corporation's bottom line, Reddit the corporation would be bankrupt.
Says, well, you're in luck. I live in San Francisco, and I would be happy to talk to you in person.
And now he's asking for a job.
Or any Reddit product manager or employee at all, or on a call or something. That's my pitch to you, Spez. The rest is to the community. To the community, Spez and Reddit, they're almost certainly not going to fix any of this. All of this is up to us to solve. For anyone who this...
We have to solve the problem of Reddit not giving us talent managers.
Message has resonated with and wants to solve this problem, well, I have created a subreddit called r/suballiance.
r/suballiance. I should open
Suballiance will be a non-profit, volunteer, community-based initiative to solve all of the problems that I have laid out. We will create tools and resources so good, so useful, that everybody will have to work with us.
Good luck.
Talent agency, but for subreddits. You have the big ideas, you have the vision, you have the crazy cool things that you want to do, and we handle the logistics. Materially, that means connections to major companies, partnerships, doing AMAs, running events, doing mod recruitment, cross-collaboration with other relevant subreddits, that kind of stuff. Go to r/suballiance.
Go to r/suballiance. I'm doing that. Oh my god, he really does look like the guy from Toy Story 2. I don't know who this guy is. I have no idea who this guy is. But wow. I saw people joking about it. And I haven't seen Toy Story 2 in like 20 years. He's really got that resemblance down. Wow. And they got the same awful comb over. Yeah, it looks like this subreddit is not what you wanted it to be. It's just people making fun of you. Scam No One Award. Yeah, I mean, he's now a soy jack. So, I mean, he kind of looks like a soy jack. Ooh. This is creepy looking and also, like, accurate. Like, he really does look like that. There's like... There's nothing here. This is not the subreddit. Yeah, he's just getting clowned on, exactly. This is not the subreddit you wanted to build. A group for subreddits to collaborate on high-quality events and initiatives. 42,000 weekly visitors. 1.9k weekly contributions. So it's been less than a week. So he's gotten 2,000 posts off this, and it seems like all of the posts are just people making fun of him. How long until Spez caves and reinstates the mod? The former LSF mod has shown unprecedented courage, wisdom, and especially charisma in this video to Spez. There is simply no way that Spez can run away from this blatant injustice towards the most marginalized and oppressed class of people in history, Reddit mods. The absolute sexual panther that is the former LSF mod will annihilate Spez in the marketplace of ideas. It just really makes you think. It really makes you think. Countdown until he deletes the subreddit. I don't know. I think he likes the attention because he did not delete this video. All of the comments on this video are making fun of him. Like, dude got fired while being unemployed. Like, he didn't have a job. He got fired from a job that isn't a job. Insane he kept the comments section on. This is not a guy who is afraid of being ridiculed. So, I mean, credit to him there.
Thank you for watching my video chart.
And like, look at this. Look at his avatar. This avatar is less flattering than an actual photograph. So this is clearly not a guy who is afraid to laugh at himself. I will give him credit for that. He's clearly not afraid to be ridiculed. And, you know, that can be tough, especially when you look like this. So credit to him there. He deserves a pat on the back for that one.
Thank you for watching my video, Charlie. I enjoyed making it, almost as much as I enjoyed making this one. In this video, I will be clarifying some of my previous points, as well as responding to some very valid points that Moist Critical brought up.
It was your mistake, buddy! Fucking Spez wasn't behind you massaging your shoulders as you signed the deal with $1 Million Fan Show, which—
I moved too quickly. I didn't verify enough stuff. I didn't—
Very true. That's all true.
Take responsibility that I should have as the top moderator of a major—
Correct. You downplayed your responsibility. You made it sound like it wasn't your fault that you accepted a sponsorship from a scam and promoted a scam and banned people for calling it a scam.
subreddit. This was my fault. And because of that, I got in a way that was probably justified.
I think this background is AI generated. I could be wrong, but it looks AI generated. And that's surprising to me because he seems like someone who would be really strongly against AI. He seems like someone who would ban someone for drawing in an art style that looks like AI. And this looks like AI. I'm not even saying it definitely is, but it looks like AI. Particularly since none of the books seem to have any words on them. They're all just like nebulous word-like shapes along the spines.
In retrospect, but that's from my perspective. What about from the company's perspective? A company should be responsible for every aspect of its business.
Okay, so here's the thing. I forget the name of it, but there's that section in the US law that says that publishers are not responsible for things that they publish within reason. So Reddit is a publisher. That's like the foundation of free speech on the internet. Reddit is a publisher, which means they're not responsible if someone goes on their platform and says something like insanely racist. It's not their problem. They can delete it, but they don't have to.
Company should take actions to maximize its success and minimize its failures.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, a company should take action to maximize its success and minimize its failures. And part of doing that is removing you from moderating a very large subreddit, because you clearly are not a person who should have that kind of power and influence.
Playing the blame game for that doesn't work. It doesn't matter that it's my fault, because the company still suffers the negative consequences anyway.
Okay, so now he's saying, yes, it was my fault, but it's still Reddit's fault.
Suffer the reputational damage, they suffer some of the liability, they suffer the harm to its users. Most of the bad things that come about as a result of my mistake.
The reputational damage. I mean, kind of. You are, like, humiliating Reddit right now. That's absolutely true. You're making Reddit look bad as a platform.
Don't affect me, they affect Reddit. As such, a company ought to take actions to minimize such harm or mistakes, because they're the ones with a $50 billion.
Which they did by removing you.
Company on the line, not me. I get to walk out of this with a laugh and some viral attention, which I clearly brought onto myself. I mean, I wouldn't have made a public video otherwise, although I wasn't quite expecting things to get this big.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that he wasn't expecting this much attention.
And even if you did have access to lawyers and other brand deals,
Actually, no, I'm not sure if I do believe that, because you were calling out Charlie, and Charlie has like 13 million subscribers. So clearly you were going to get attention.
it wouldn't have prevented something like this from happening.
It would have helped, because if there was a whole pipeline and process, I would have gone through those processes.
Would you have, though? You seem like someone who's very confident in his own decision-making. You seem like someone who would latch on to the sponsorship and say, maybe the Reddit, maybe my Reddit mandated lawyer doesn't know what he's talking about, because you seem like someone who has a very high opinion of himself.
And then the vetting would have been done by Reddit itself, not me.
Anyone who has ever visited—
But so you want Reddit to vet projects that you choose to involve yourself in without them having any say in it. So you get to say, I'm going to involve myself in this project. Reddit needs to vet it for me. And then Reddit is now honor bound to vet the project on your behalf. And you don't have to pay them to do that. Because you could have paid someone to vet this company. You could have hired like a lawyer to look at it. But you don't want to pay someone to do your vetting. you want your vetting to be done for free.
LSF in the last, 7 years will tell you it is not a subreddit for crazy, wacky clips of gaming and, extreme fails or anything like that.
Your description of LSF is correct. Lately, there's been a lot of political drama that has pushed out other content. It's been such a big issue that I've been trying to think of solutions for months. But your response to me doesn't really make any sense. Let's use an example to explain why. Let's say I were to claim, I want to add more gaming clips to LSF. And someone were to respond to me by saying, what do you mean more gaming clips? LSF doesn't have any gaming clips. Well, my response to that response would be, yeah.
Paying someone to do his own job. Yeah, well, that's the thing. He wants someone to do his job for him for free. So he's saying that he needs sponsorships. He's not saying why he needs sponsorships. He thinks it's self-evident that he needs sponsorships. He thinks it's just obvious that everyone should just realize that he needs sponsorships. And because he needs sponsorships, he needs a lawyer to look over those sponsorships and make sure he's not promoting a scam, which makes sense. If you're going to take a sponsorship, you should be sure it's not a scam. And you should be sure you're not getting ripped off in the contract. That's reasonable. But he thinks that Reddit is responsible for him choosing to take on these sponsorships. And they're not. Reddit, as far as I know, Reddit did not tell him to take on these sponsorships.
You're right. That's why I want to add more gaming clips. You have noticed the problem, I have noticed the problem, and I want to take an action to fix it.
Okay, what
but your
was the exact
clips of gaming SF in the last, 7 years.
And then the vetting would have been done by Reddit itself, not me.
Anyone who has ever visited LSF in the last,
Okay, I don't know exactly
to respond to me,
he was responding to, so I don't know if he's being disingenuous.
I'm not really sure, but reality TV show do well in LSF, or would they just get downvoted into oblivion? I'm not really sure, but I don't think the topic is so far off or so crazy that it would be impossible for these types of clips to do well. It's worth it to try.
Obviously, things would already be being clipped and posted on the LSF subreddit. Why would you be reaching out about a collaboration to ensure that happens when you know for a fact it already would?
You are partially right. Some clips would get posted. Some might even do well. But you would be surprised at how little clips get posted to LSF for how large of a subreddit it is. I counted.
So you're saying that LSF is not as influential as you suggested it may have been because people don't really post a lot of clips there, which means that the clips that do get posted get a lot of eyes on them.
And as of this
so people who upload to LSF have more influence than you because you're not really controlling what goes on the front page. That's just down to what gets uploaded.
Back moment, there were 40 clips posted to LSF in the last 24 hours. That's not that many. My theory is, what if a dedicated editing team?
Yeah, that actually is not that many. He said 40?
Posted to LSF in the last 24 hours. That's 40? Not, I counted. And as of this exact moment, there were 40 clips posted to LSF in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, that's not a lot. That sounds like anyone can just upload a clip to LSF, and if it's a good clip, it'll just go viral. So it sounds like you aren't doing anything. You're not curating an experience for anybody. So what do we need you for? It sounds like the platform and the users that are on the platform are doing all the work.
That's not that many. My theory is, what if a dedicated editing team, or hell, one guy, spent full time trying to find good clips, titling them correctly, and posting them to LSF? Could one
who's going to pay for that?
Guy find and edit 40 clips a day for a week and then post them to LSF, outnumbering all of the rest of the users combined? Maybe.
He's essentially a leech. Yeah, well, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he already said that that LSF was already big before he got there. And that he just won the game of Reddit mod politics that allowed him to come out on top above all the other Reddit mods on LSF. So he did not build the platform, and he's not curating the platform. All he's doing is banning people who say bad words on the platform, which, someone has to do that. But, that still just makes you a janitor.
That is, of course, a very extreme example to demonstrate a point. A better number would be more like 4 a day. And what's 4 divided by 40? Well, that's 10%. I think that would be noticeable.
Why, though? LSF best clip is just the best clip from the event. Why does LSF's name need to be attached to it? I just don't even get this stretch.
Yeah, and this is the other thing. He's like, I think we need to have an LSF branded clipping competition for this contest that, the contest turned out to be a scam, but that's beside the point. And it's like, why? Like, what are you adding by attaching your name to this? You're not paying them.
Let me pitch you the idea more directly, because I think it could be very funny. I don't mean a couple people find the best clips that happen on the show. Instead, I mean that there would be a timed competition where streamers compete to create clips on the fly, post them to LSF, and whoever could farm the subreddit the best wins. Let me brainstorm a couple examples to show why this could be.
Okay, this is stupid. This is really stupid. I kind of thought he might have been talking about this. This is stupid. because what's going to happen is people are just going to upvote the clips from the streamer they like. They're not going to upvote the best clip. So it's just a popularity contest.
Very funny. What if Extra Emily purposely runs a red light and crashes a car? What if somebody gets a shot caller while wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt and purposely runs a red light and crashes a car?
What if a streamer does something insanely irresponsible and dangerous and risks the life of people around her? You think that's cool?
What if somebody gets a shot caller while wearing a Che Guevara t-shirt and then shocks somebody who's wearing a dog furry outfit? Heck, put them together. Extra Emily crashes a car into the furry. And I think streamers could come up with some ideas that are a lot more than the ones that I just did.
Who got a refund?
So, okay, now I'm starting to think this really is a joke. Is he joking? Is this a character? Is he playing a character? Is he playing a character? Because he's saying that his dream is for a mid-level streamer to deliberately run a red light and crash her car on camera for views on Reddit. He wants that to happen. He loves that idea. He thinks that's really cool. Is that a joke?
I haven't seen anyone, posting receipts of getting a refund from the money they spent on this. Where are you getting that information from? That's a genuine question.
Regarding the $1 million fan situation, I realized that I clearly...
What the hell is he saying? He's saying he wants to do a contest where streamers have to create content for clips that get posted on LSF, and the winner of the contest is whoever gets the most upvotes. Whoever's clip gets the most upvotes. So he wants someone to crash their car for upvotes. To run a red light and crash a car for upvotes. He said run a red light. So he's not talking about crashing a car on a private course as a stunt. He's talking about reckless endangerment is the best case charge in that situation. Okay, so here he is talking about refunds.
The money they spent on this, where are you getting that information from? That's a genuine question.
Regarding the $1 million fan situation, I realized that I clearly don't have all the information, so I don't want to comment on it that much. That being said, I did have a new piece of information available to show. The company...
Okay, so apparently there is a refund. I don't really know. I don't know the details of this scam, so I don't know how significant this is. He's so chopped, he really is. What if this really is an elaborate character? That's the thing. The things he's saying are so insane. I'm starting to wonder if this is a character, if he's doing this as a joke.
He has given me a redacted and
because he left the comments open.
Time-stamped refund that you can see right here. Additionally, they say this is all they can provide right now, given user privacy laws.
It's not that nobody notices. It's
okay, again, I have not looked into the scam. I don't know what this means. I don't know how trustworthy this is.
Nobody's happy about it, where they can hide certain things or boost certain things. That's a bad thing. Everyone knows that it exists, and everyone knows that there is actual power in that. I don't think anyone actually disputes that.
Hey, I'm glad it's obvious to you too, but when I said Reddit moderators have power in my deadpan moderator voice, a lot of people made fun of me for it. But perhaps the perception of the egotistical Reddit moderator who looks funny and takes his unpaid janitorial duties way too seriously was too much for people to look past, and they couldn't see the truth of the matter. I'm not happy about it either. That is in fact
what? You literally said that's the reason you became a Reddit mod, is because you wanted that power.
Exactly why I made these videos. People who are looking at me in horror or laughter.
Is this a joke? Is this satire? Is this like the most genius work of satire in the last, 5 years?
Or pity should ask themselves what that says about the $50 billion platform that is Reddit. Take every insult that you have against me about how I'm incompetent, about how I'm biased, egotistical, power hungry, etc., all that. And ask yourself, how does that make you feel about Reddit, knowing that I was able to control one of the top subreddits on the platform for over...
He's not disputing any of these criticisms. He's saying, yes, I'm egotistical and insane and a narcissist, and I have all this power. Isn't that kind of fucked up? And so it kind of sounds like this is satire.
A year with borderline dictatorial...
Is this guy humiliating himself on camera to prove a point? Is this genius? Is this a genius work of performance art?
Powers doing who knows what that you'll never find out about, and then
doing who knows what that you'll never find out about. Like what? What are you talking about? What have you seen? Show us your DMs. Show us the horrible things that are in your DMs on Reddit.
I am the bull in the china shop. I'm telling you these things directly. Forget about me. Think about all the other subreddits that exist.
Exactly. Think about all the other subreddits that exist, and they're not talking about this stuff, and they're not getting on camera looking like the guy from Toy Story 2, embarrassing themselves, humiliating themselves for views on YouTube. And what are they doing behind closed doors?
Think about how you have no idea who they are, what they're doing, and every time somebody like me gives you a peek under the curtain, society gawks at the insanity of all of it.
Is this satire?
You are a moderator in a subreddit. Why are you chasing down brand partnerships and collaborations, buddy?
I mean, you're an influencer with a platform. Why do you do it? You could say personal enrichment, but you don't strike me as somebody who's completely motivated by money. I
Yeah, that's an understatement. Charlie gives money away for free.
can imagine you doing a brand deal or partnership, not for money, but just with a group that you think is cool for your community.
Okay, so you thought that this sponsorship was cool, but you didn't think to look into it. See, if it had been for the money, that would almost be less embarrassing. Because if it had been for the money, that would mean that you didn't look into it because you were blinded by greed, which, you know, happens to most people. A lot of people, if you dangle $5,000 in front of them, they'll start acting not the most role model-y. But so you were doing this because you thought that this program was really cool, but you didn't look into it. You didn't know anything about it.
Or maybe you just want to. And Reddit is a platform, like any other platform, and moderators are in charge of it. I know this is rare and nobody does this stuff. That's my entire point. Reddit as a platform is underutilized. So just like you might utilize your
Okay, now I'm no longer thinking this is a joke.
platform, why can't moderators? You brought up examples of
Because moderators don't actually have a platform. Nobody is going to LSF because they think you're awesome. People are going to LSF because they want to see the video of Hassan shocking his dog. They don't care about you. You can be replaced. But the clip of Hassan shocking his dog can't be replaced.
conflicts of interest. Well, let's do the same thing again. What do you do about conflicts of interest? A company could work with you, and you could also be incentivized to, I don't know, not say something bad about them or cover some drama involving them. The reality is, conflicts of interest are everywhere in life. It's good to be aware of them. It's good to minimize risks associated with them. But I don't see why Reddit is so sacrosanct of a platform that it's different from any other platforms where
Because Reddit is a discussion forum. Discussion forums need to have some kind of neutrality. If there isn't some kind of neutrality, then there's no point in having a discussion.
conflicts of interest exist. I guess for Reddit moderators, we're representing other people. We don't truly own the platform, so
Correct, you don't own the platform, and nobody's there for you. That's the really important distinction between you and an influencer. People go to watch an influencer because they like the influencer. Either they like the content that they make, or they like the influencer's personality, or both. They don't go to an influencer to watch the influencer clean up a pile of vomit that a 7-year-old left in the cafeteria because influencers aren't janitors.
maybe it's more important for us to be unbiased compared to other platforms, I guess. But man, if we're worried about bias, I can promise you
Maybe it's more important for us to be unbiased. I guess, maybe.
that there are way bigger fish to fry in terms of how biased moderators are allowed to be, that I'm not sure that brand deals for community events is really the biggest danger out there.
Yeah, okay, he's right. There are bigger issues with bias and Reddit moderation, but you probably still shouldn't be taking brand deals, and you definitely shouldn't be deleting criticism without addressing it of those brand deals. That is an insane conflict of interest.
But sure, it's something to look out for.
There are no qualifications to be a Reddit mod.
You're right. There aren't any qualifications. But maybe there should be. Maybe because there are no such qualifications,
Wouldn't that undermine the, like, I don't use Reddit. I've said that like 5 times. I don't use Reddit. Wouldn't that undermine the purpose of Reddit if there were qualifications to be a Reddit mod? Because the purpose of Reddit is that anyone can make a forum, right?
this is why we're seeing all the problems that we see. It seems like you're trying to have this every way past Sunday without realizing that the premises that you've agreed to lead to a conclusion. These facts that we have agreed on are that Reddit is a $50 billion company that moderators have power over. Maybe not as much power as an overly invested, egotistical power mod as myself might like to believe, but power nonetheless. And most Reddit moderators are completely unqualified, biased, power hungry, and are doing a bad job. And Reddit isn't doing anything to fix it. Maybe it should. As for me, I'm out of ideas. My solutions are bad and didn't work. But I see a problem, I see the effect it has, and I don't know how to fix it. So if anybody else has any idea about how to fix this, please say so. You might be surprised as to who listens. Thank you.
This is just crazy. This is the end of the stream, though. This is like, we're out of content here, so I'm gonna wrap this up.